Welcome in, Dark Hearts. I'm Mooney.
And Wolfie with your Nerd Network news.
We finally got the chance to catch Godzilla Minus One, and oh my Gojira, it was such an amazing movie.
How Miyazaki films and the original Godzilla movie had a baby, and that baby was Godzilla Minus One.
The plot of Minus One starts in 1945, towards the end of World War II, revolving around Koichi, a former kamikaze pilot who fakes technical issues with his plane and lands on an island for repairs, and witnesses the first appearance of Godzilla, and that actually caught us by surprise.
Koichi spends the first half of the movie plagued by survivor's guilt and PTSD. And despite moving on with his life and finding some sense of normalcy with his love Noriko and their adopted child Akiko, whose birth parents were lost in the war, he never quite feels safe to be happy in his life. And all this is brought to a head in the middle of the film when Godzilla reemerges bigger, badder, and angrier than ever. This film drew you in. You felt every action beat that came after.
Not just that, but sprinkle on some Jaws in there. All those boat scenes in the water blew me away. The water physics looked absolutely real. It felt like you were actually watching Godzilla chase this boat.
This is all completely animated, and you're able to see water dripping over scales that don't exist. They did an amazing job with this.
Did they really use full CGI in the movie? Or is there actually a kaiju hiding under the waves? The environment, Godzilla himself, every aspect of this movie was a 10 out of 10.
What we see with Minus One is a return to form. This is going back to the original stream of Godzilla movies before all of the extra powers and kaiju were added into the mix. And it proves, just as it did back in the 50s when the first one came out, that a giant radioactive lizard is scary enough by itself.
Probably our favorite aspect about this movie wasn't just Gojira himself. The acting was phenomenal. You felt every single emotion. We both cried.
Minus One draws you in on an emotional scale with its use of an impactful orchestral score, as well as the story being driven by emotional beats rather than the typical story, especially Godzilla movies, which are usually driven by the action beats. What this means is as you're watching it, you are engaging with every character and the devastation and loss they are going through, the panic they're feeling, and then the action beat hits.
The haunting air raid siren-based scores, 10 out of 10.
I also love that they didn't feel the need to crank up the air raid siren. Like, you don't need to deafen us, we know it's there, and it's almost scarier that it's soft and in the distance. All in all, Godzilla Minus One is a beautiful return to form, with the added bonus of having modern technology and animation to really make the characters and the devastation pop. I would definitely recommend watching this in theater so that you too can feel the rumble when Godzilla roars. NNN would like to thank our listeners for tuning in and our radio sponsor, 1065 The Point.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to DarkHeart_Studios on Facebook and Instagram for updates and daily content.
As well as Dark Heart Studios on YouTube and Twitch for full video versions of NNN and live streams.
Thank you for tuning in, Dark Hearts. This is Mooney.
And Wolfie, signing off.